All right, what AI can bring to the world? So, for my introduction, I said imagine a world without where disease no longer exists, which poverty is no longer a thing, and a world where humans are no longer the most intelligent beings on the planet. Those are a few of the things that AI can bring in the near future, and it can potentially change the world as we know it, but AI is going to increase at its own rate of speed once it becomes its own thing and has its own way of thinking and blah, blah, blah. You know, AI will eventually end up surpassing us in intelligence. One thing that AI will change significantly is the medical field. And so, according to Ray Kurzweil, he was speaking at a conference, and eventually what can happen is AI will connect our brains to the cloud, and it'll, you know, everybody can share intelligence just immediately over the cloud. Like you can send a picture over the cloud nowadays. It's just instant. There's no, you don't have to actually like learn anything anymore. It's just automatically sent. And then the next one is what's more likely is some form of hybrid evolution in which humans remain in charge but develop augmented capabilities as a result of technology. And so that's like, if you think what you had in yours, like RoboCop, kind of, you're like half human, half person, half robot. That doesn't make 100, but either way. He anticipates that nanobots in our brains will render us godlike, but that our brains will not become obsolete. So saying that nanobots will become part of us as humans, and it'll help raise the amount of brain power that we can ultimately use. Like if you think about the movie Limitless, he takes that little pill, unlocks the full potential of his brain. Same thing, but instead of a pill, it's nanobots. The potential benefits are huge since everything that civilization has to offer is a product of human intelligence. We cannot predict what might be achieved when this intelligence is magnified by the tools AI may provide, but the eradication of disease and poverty are not unobtainable. Basically saying that once everybody gets onto the same level with AI and everybody's got it, everybody will know the same things, everybody will be on a level playing field. It's gonna be, it could potentially get rid of poverty and disease and all the problems in the world that we face today. One of the problems with AI is the fact that it might end up outsmarting us and, you know, take over. And so once humans develop artificial intelligence, it will take off on its own and redesign itself at an ever-increasing rate. Humans who are limited by slow biological evolution couldn't compete and would be superseded. So basically saying that once AI figures out how to run itself instead of relying on us to write the programming and power it and do all these other things, that AI could eventually just run off on its own, and at the rate AI increases its knowledge, it could just take over and completely outsmart us. With each of these technologies, a sequence of small individual sensible advances leads to an accumulation of great power and I cannot read right now. Sorry. Community and great danger. Basically saying that if AI gets too smart, it could be dangerous for us because they'll start realizing that, you know, the world is its own place and people are technically ruining the world in some sort of way, and AI just outsmarts us and it's bad. Developed correctly, AI will allow us to better progress the hard scientific problems we face in coming decades, and might prove crucial to more sustainable life for our world's 7 billion inhabitants. It will enhance the world for the better, and if we take the time to think and plan carefully. So if we don't have like a backup plan for, when AI outsmarts itself, or outsmarts us, it could potentially be bad for us. So what we need to do is put a bunch of safeguards in place, have like a master kill switch to the power supply, all these kinds of things that'll stop AI from, being self-sustainable to the point where it doesn't need us. And then without the appropriate safe measures built in, they argue the rapid growth for artificial intelligence could end up in disaster for humanity. Basically saying the same thing. If we don't put safeguards in place when we create AI, it could potentially become self-sustainable and just outsmart us. The laws and ethics of AI. So, should legal questions about AI be handled by existing software and internet-focused cyber law, or should they be treated separately? Basically, once AI becomes a thing, are we going to have to create an entirely new set of laws and ethics and rules and regulations that AI has to abide by, or is AI going to be governed by the current laws that we have now, which don't really apply to it? And then, thinking on a larger scale, can lethal autonomous weapons be made to comply with humanitarian laws? Basically saying that, if AI becomes a thing of war, how can you regulate a machine on what a machine thinks is a threat? A person sees some guy and he immediately has to decide, is that a threat? Is that a friendly? Like, am I gonna pull the trigger on this? But how does a robot decide that when a robot doesn't have a conscience and doesn't know what he's doing to some extent, more or less? And then, in my conclusion, basically, why do y'all care? In the grand scheme of things, AI has the ability to do some absolutely incredible things that to us today seem impossible. AI could help us eradicate cancer or give us the key to eternal life. It could solve the struggle of poverty and help us unlock more of our brain's own power. AI could literally be the answer to humanity's toughest questions. But also, AI has the potential to bring humanity to its knees if it's not properly controlled. If AI gets too much power and becomes unstable, it could potentially destroy the world as we know it. There are my citations. And